Hi, welcome back to Write Better Right Now. I have been talking about goal, motivation, and conflict in the most recent videos. Goal is what your main character wants or needs to do or get or achieve, the thing that drives the plot. Motivation is why it's very important to them, and conflict is why it's difficult. But in terms of the goal, what they want or need to do or get, those can be the same things, but they can also be different things. In some cases, they might want something. They almost always want something that drives the plot. That's usually an external thing. It's something that they start out the story wanting and it drives the plot forward, or something happens to them early on that causes them to want to do something, to change something, to get somewhere, to get an object, whatever thing they are trying to get during the plot. That can be the external want. In many cases, a character also needs something different that is internal, and that drives the character arc, the way the character changes over the course of the story. So, some general examples in a romance, you sometimes see one or both of the main characters says that they just want to keep things light and casual. They're not interested in a serious relationship. And the story tells us what they really need is to open themselves up to a deep, true love. In mystery or suspense novels, sometimes you have a character who's motivated by a desire for revenge, but they really need to come to terms with what happened so that they can let go of the past and move forward. Or you may have a character who's motivated by fear, perhaps the fear that they or a loved one will be accused of a murder that they did not commit. In my Reluctant Psychic series, which starts with a stone cold murder, the main character has a psychic gift, and because of it, she was rejected a lot when she was younger. So she's become very emotionally isolated. In this series, she winds up having to solve these mysteries. In part, the first one happens because she uses her psychic power to find out that she believes someone was murdered, and she doesn't want to tell anyone else that she has the psychic power. So she has to investigate on her own, because otherwise, how can she convince people to actually take this seriously? So the external force is the desire to solve the murder of her predecessor, to make sure that she's not in danger now that she's stepped into his position. But the internal arc that happens over several books in the story is her learning to make new friends, trust the people around her, and build a found family to replace the family that she didn't really have growing up. In my brother's book, Totally Rad Wormhole, it's about two nerds from the 80s who accidentally open a wormhole to today and go to their high school reunion. When they see what they have become, they are horrified and they set out to change their fate. So it's a comedy, but there's also that internal arc of them finally realizing that what they think they want at 17 may not be what they really need as adults. So your want and your need can be in conflict. They don't have to be. So don't panic if you don't have want and need in conflict. But it can deepen the story. It can add plot complications if they're trying to get one thing, but they really need something else. It can also give you that strong character arc of a character who changes, is a different person by the end of the story, and maybe has realized new things. So in the end, the characters may get both what they wanted and what they needed, or they may get one thing. So a mystery novel hero may solve the mystery and also have that character arc where they figure out what they really needed. But sometimes you may have a character who only gets one thing, then it's usually going to be the true need. They may realize that the thing they thought they wanted isn't the most important thing after all. And that the internal change causes them to realize that what they already had, or something else that they get, is what they truly needed. An exercise that you can do is think about what your main character wants. That's probably the thing that you establish fairly early that sets off the plot. And then, what does your main character truly need that they might not recognize at the beginning of the story? If you don't have something, you might think about whether you can explore the internal questions a little bit more to see if you want to set up something that they need to change as an individual. In the end, what do they get, or what do you plan to have them get? And how does that resolve their initial goal? Do they get the thing that they originally wanted and it's kind of a straightforward story, or do you have a bit more complexity there? Again, there's no single way that to write. There's no single answer for how your story should work, but it's possible that thinking about what your character wants and needs as potentially two different things will help you both develop the plot and develop a more realistic, believable, and interesting character. That's it for this week. And next week, I'm going to come back and talk about active characters working toward goals and making sure that they are actually doing things and not just worrying about them. So please come back and join me then. And thanks for being here.